All right. We have this other thing. I was talking with someone who had recently done their first IBJJF competition, and they had trained their blue belt. I think a blue belt, and they trained to go. They had disappeared for a while to go do their get ready or whatever, and they did it. And I asked him, how he did, and he had won, and all this stuff. But we had a little sidebar conversation about how. And I just said, how was it? How were the spectators? How were the people? How were they behaving? And he had some things to say, but this is a post that was shared with me to sort of help communicate some of that stuff. And this post by, I don't know who this is, Erica Dawn, but she saw a lot, but not just jiu-jitsu. I saw too many families, coaches, and teammates lose sight of what it means to be a martial artist, disrespecting referees, throwing tantrums over tough calls, athletes refusing to shake hands over matches. Disheartening, especially because these behaviors are learned. Our kids are watching us. Jiu-jitsu is a sport, yes, but at its core, it's a martial art, one built on respect, humility, and growth. Respect, humility, and growth. Competition is meant to test your skills, both physically and mentally, and without our opponents and referees, we wouldn't have the opportunity, blah, 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 blah. It's always, we take full ownership, is what she says. We take full ownership of our performances. We don't point fingers. We don't blame the refs. It was a close call. Next time, don't leave it up to debate. Learn the rules, control the match, finish clean. Yeah. I've seen that in jiu-jitsu a lot as well. I will also say that I recently saw this. We were watching UFC Fight Night on ESPN, me and my son, and we're big fans of Stephen Thompson, who's probably one of the best sportsmen in mixed martial arts. Shows some of the best sportsmanship. He's like the NMF, nicest MFer or whatever in the UFC, and he lost. He lost, and I think in most of their opinions, he got robbed of this win. Split his shin. Savage, split his shin wide open to the bone. Later needed stitches and stuff, but continued to kick the guy in the head with the cut up leg. But anyway, at the end of the fight, the guy climbed up and grabbed him, and they wanted to climb up on top of the top of the octagon together, and they got up there, and he's doing this and stuff. And so Stephen Thompson comes from a traditional martial arts pedigree through his family. I visited his school. At the end of the night, I visited his school. He was there. Chris Weidman was there. And several other of his coaches and training partners were there. We were there late. It's like 10:30, 10 o'clock or something like that. They were done. They started cleaning the floor. He grabbed the sprayer and the mop, and they cleaned the floor. He cleaned the floor. And then he came in the office, getting dressed, still sweaty. Good night, Pops. Good night, guys. Good to see you. And then he was one of the last out of there. I've trained at jiu-jitsu schools where people just throw stuff all around. And they just leave. They don't take care of even in my own gym, people will train and just pack up their bag and walk out, which is fine. You're paying for a service. I get it. But what happened to taking care of your community? What happened to taking care of where you train? The competition, the tournament is part of where you train. You have to take care of the environment. I agree with her, what her post. You have to take care of your environment. You have to take care of your training partners. You have to take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. In the middle of all that, you bring that crappy energy, over competitive bullshit into those places and it turns them into crap. I've seen it. I don't like it. I will say it's worse in the jiu-jitsu community than there are real traditional jiu-jitsu uh, schools. I've honestly have yet to really visit one. Um, but there are groups who are very respectful and do the right thing. And there are other places where I've trained that have not. Everybody's different. Everybody's school is different.